19th century New York, a flower blossoming in the brambles of the New World. It was a time for the rise of a newly born America. Upon observation, one would see a proud people, a growing infrastructure, and a cloud that hung over it all, a menacing blanket of stratus over an atmosphere that would otherwise, perhaps, be sunny. Trailing along with the new nation was a dark passenger riding upon its coattails, and its name was cholera. In the 1830s, New York struggled under the weight of its second epidemic, having already been ravaged by yellow fever in the earlier part of the century. The population density, unsanitary living conditions, and lack of fresh water all mingled and mutated into an impressive miasma which threatened to swallow the budding metropolis. But New York was not to perish. It was saved with the creation of the Croton Reservoir. With walls 50 feet high and 25 feet thick, it held 20 million gallons of water and ushered life back into the dying city. Such a miracle deserved recognition, or so thought artist Emma Stebbins, and so, when commissioned to create a sculpture for a Central Park venue, she naturally chose to commemorate the Croton Reservoir. It is here that we see the result of her work. Welcome to Bethesda Terrace. Few can argue that the monument is anything but beautiful, but for Stebbins, the fountain's beauty was only a secondary goal. Its main purpose was to send a message to New York City, a message of healing. To communicate such a message, Stebbins relied heavily on form and imagery. Her choice of the angel, its posture, and even its position in relation to its surrounding environment and architecture were all key to endowing the monument with its meaning. So let's start with the angel. Why use it, and what was such an image to convey? The answer to such a question lies in the Bible. Stebbins drew upon a passage in the Gospel of John. The scripture reads, "Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool, and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatever disease he had." It was this miraculous healing that the artist wished to capture, which is why the angel atop the fountain is intended to be the very angel which would stir the waters in Jerusalem's own Bethesda. Supporting this central figure are 4 cherubs, which sit between the fountain's middle and uppermost basin. They also portray renewal, and respectively represent temperance, purity, health, and peace, 4 characteristics for which the city prayed during its time of great illness. It is also important to note that the angel of the waters which tops the fountain is not static. With lilies in hand, she leans forward and extends her arm towards the water below. The lilies represent purity, and the angel's forward movement makes her an energized figure, which actively ushers life back into New York. This is why the lake sits behind the fountain. It is the source by which the city will be healed. It is the life to which the angel acts as a conduit. Not only does the angel work in conjunction with the lake, but also with its preceding arcade. The shaded tunnel leading to the fountain is evocative of the dark of New York in the time of its epidemic, and when the end of the arcade is reached and one emerges into the light, it represents the city's reemergence into happier times. So, through form, Stebbins was successful in conveying her message of healing, and perhaps this is why Bethesda was, and is, a monument for the ages.